So, I guess I should probably talk about this. Although, not exactly a very popular YouTuber or anything, but you know, it kind of affects me. Oh my god. It affects me quite personally in many ways, and my god, the world is fucking glitching out as we fly. But anyway, the whole net neutrality bullcrap happening. Okay. Yeah, well, it's bullcrap. Anyway, it really, I don't even fully understand it completely, because I'm a dumb kid still. Well, technically not a kid, but I'm dumb. I'm young. I don't understand how people can be both so stupid and yet so powerful. I understand it's money, but why are the dumb so? How come they have so much fucking money anyway? It fucking pisses me off. I'm getting. I don't even know fully how to explain it. I don't even get what I'm trying to either. My life. It is the internet. People can go around and say, "Oh, you'll have other things you can do in life." And internet doesn't equate your life or whatever the hell. I don't even think I used that properly. Whatever. Your life is not the internet, and you can go ahead and do other shit. You can go outside. Fuck that bull crap. People like that don't fully understand. Don't always understand what goes on in your life and why you think the internet is so important to you that it's kind of almost a mental necessity, which is kind of dumb and makes you seem weak or anything like that, because there is a life outside of the internet, but it's not always. That life isn't always the greatest. Not for everybody. And that's why people try to escape the real world. They try to live online, meet people like themselves. Okay, try to meet people like themselves so they can actually not have to deal with the life that has been forced upon them. It's usually people who are living somewhat decent lives, maybe not the greatest, but somewhat decent, that can say that the internet isn't their life. But for the people who are living shitty lives, who might have abusive parents, who might have nobody in their life, maybe even no parents at all, the people who aren't understood, for the people who base who they are on the internet, for the people who might be trans, gay, bisexual, or maybe different race even, I don't know. Any of that sort of thing, it helps if they're on the internet and actually able to do the things that they do because they can connect to people in that way, because maybe the people that surround them in the real world and, you know, RL, maybe those people don't like the fact that they are the way they are and they're alone. And for people who don't understand what it's like to be alone because maybe they're really popular, they have friends or people or a good family that love them, being alone can be very hard. It might not seem that way if you lived a life where people have loved and cared about you for your whole life and you think, oh, it's not terrible to be alone for a little while. If you're alone for years with having nobody who can say that they love them, it makes living life very hard. And the internet can be a way for people to distract themselves from the shittiness that is their life. They can do things that can keep them distracted or make them happy, even just for a little bit. They can find people who are like them and actually feel a sense of connection when they never had it before. Oh, I'm glitching out again, whatever. They can become somebody else than the labels that define them in the real world. If in the real world they're not pretty, if they're not incredibly talented in some way, if they're not like a jock, or if they're not incredibly brilliant at everything, if they're not maybe a type of race or their sexuality is different, or something about them isn't the norm, what is considered the norm, then the online world is the thing that can accept them. It is a place where you can find any community, anywhere. You literally just Google search it, and suddenly you're shown a world that is literally meant for you. And you're embraced there. You can do what you want, and you remain entirely anonymous. Nobody can really hurt you there. They can say mean things, but you're used to that. If that community can't accept you, then you can literally click block and then go find another one. If you want to find people that can say I love you, I care about you, you're important, then the internet is a place where you can do that so easily. You don't have to travel down. There are people who base the internet on everything they are and do. It can be their job, it can be where they find their family, their friends, their hopes, their dreams, anything. They can become an entirely different person with just a few clicks and words put into a detailed box. They can say, my name isn't this, my name is now this. And everybody can only call them that. Unless they, try to give them another nickname or something, but that is the name that they can go by. That is the personality that they are. And nobody can physically hurt them by being that, because if they don't like it, then, like I said, they can flip and block them and go away. They can be anybody. They can actually be themselves for once. They don't have to be beautiful. They don't have to be talented. They don't even have to be entirely 100% nice all the time. They can say what the fuck is going on in their mind. They can swear like a sailor. They can be as sexual as they want because nobody can really do anything about it other than blocking them, muting them. And even when that happens, it's not going to really hurt you that much. It can't physically hurt you. It can maybe emotionally hurt you. But you can move on and find somebody somewhere. And even if you don't, there are the things like games that can distract you. that can make you feel a little better. You can watch a funny video, you can find a good book, you can do a lot of things that are so amazing. Things that we can't even fully understand. But if it makes you happy, that's all that matters. If it doesn't hurt anybody, then that's all that matters. Why should it be taken away because a few companies want a few extra bucks in their pocket? I understand that the whole net neutrality thing might not be the end of the internet as we know it, but it's going to change many, many things. It's going to mess with people who are poor. It's going to mess with school systems and how their fundings are managed. It can affect businesses, including small businesses, and large businesses even, if they end up having to pay more so that they're run fast enough by the service providers. It can literally create a gap between the families that are created online, the communities that are created online. Maybe because one person in a group can no longer afford to be in a faster lane, so that their game that they used to play at high speeds is running slower, and they become a shittier player because they're DCing a lot, or because they can't play at as well of a resolution, or be as useful because they're lagging so much, or they just can't get online all the time anymore because their systems aren't running fast enough. They can't get on Discord because maybe it's not loading well anymore. They can't get on the places, the things that they use, the things that they are. They can't be themselves anymore because it's literally been taken away because they can't shell out a few extra fucking dollars. The companies are saying nothing bad is going to happen. They're not going to be changing anything. Fuck that. Like, for real. Why would they be trying to change the law if they weren't at least trying to change something? If they didn't have some sort of plan, if they weren't trying to get more money or trying to get something out of somewhere, then why would they be trying to change it in the first place? It makes no sense. If they weren't trying to get money, or they weren't trying to do something that benefits them somehow, then why would they be spending so much money and so much effort to try to get the law changed? They wouldn't be trying to do something like that even when it upsets the majority of the people who actually pay attention to politics, if there wasn't something that helps them in some way. What would be the point? Oh, because a handful of people are saying this, this, and this, even though they don't even fully understand what net neutrality does, even when the majority are saying don't do it, because the people who are saying don't do it fucking actually understand what the fuck is going on and what it could happen. The possibility of the internet being completely fucked up eventually is there. Because now they'll probably end up having control if the lawsuits in Congress let it go through. If the lawsuits can't go through and don't somehow find a way to stop it, then what is gonna happen? We don't know. We're scared. We're worried. We don't want our home to be taken away. mean,
Hello. Ashar Fela.
the guy before, was it Edgy Pie or something? He was saying something about the industry not be doing as well as before, but the only industry that could really be affected negatively would be service providers. And I understand that if they're losing so much money that they're gonna go out of business, something would need to change. But they aren't, because how many fucking people use the internet? They could not possibly be losing so much money that they're going to end up fucking going out of business, because otherwise why would they be spending so much money to try and change this? To try and do something about it? And like I said, I don't fully understand the situation, so maybe what I'm saying is completely 100% wrong, because like I said, I am not I am not the wisest person in the world. I don't have the experience. I don't have years and years of living through so many changes to the world. I don't have 100% understanding of the situation either, because I learned about it less than a week ago. Less than a week ago. Somebody I knew at my school mentioned it to me and explained a little bit about it. Now, for a few days before, I had heard about it, but I hadn't really looked at it or researched it. It was more something, hearing people talk about it a little bit in a couple forums or something like that, or seeing in my newsfeed having YouTubers in the title would say something about net neutrality, but I didn't really click on it because I didn't think it was important. So I had heard of the term, but I didn't know what it was or what it was about or what was happening. So I learned exactly 2 days before the vote was going to actually happen. And 2 days was enough for me to, well, no, it was 1 day. 1 day was enough for me to research it, to have a basic understanding, to put up a poster on my locker so other people would research it, to ask the principal at my school to put something about it in the bulletin, and then researching and finding several videos, and even writing a very small paper to my principal, hoping he'd put it in the bulletin, which he didn't. Fucking didn't. And I even got, like, snapped at because I was talking about it so much. Several times by people. Because they didn't want to hear it. Because the people at my school are still not exactly all 100% mentally mature enough to be trying to pay attention to what's going on in the world, because a lot of them are still 15, 16, 17, and a few 18-year-olds. A few. So it's not like they're even 100% fully aware of how easily our government can crumble, our world can crumble, because a few stupid people try to do a few stupid things. Which they're trying to do right now. Just saying. Which they basically have already done right now. Just saying. But, what can I do? I am barely even old enough to vote. I am a little immature brat with no proper understanding of how politics even work. I don't have power. I don't have money to be trying to figure out how to fix all the shit that's going on. I don't even have any influence at all. I'm a fucking 18-year-old weeb who fucking just plays internet games in a tiny little village where nobody gives a shit. Like I said, I don't know how to fix anything. All I can do is talk about it and whine that nobody's fixing it. I can sign a few petitions online, and I can be pissed off about it. I don't have influence at all. I wouldn't even know where to start. If I were to have the money to do something, I wouldn't even know where to start. I wouldn't know who to talk to, who to be talking to about it. I wouldn't know what to do. I still have no fucking clue what to do. All I really know is that I'm scared, and companies have way more power than they should right now. Or they will soon. In like 2 months? 3? Not even? Is it? That's bad. It should be kind of obvious that there needs to be proper regulations on things. Not to over-regulate, but to protect the people. And it's hard to vote for people who are good if there aren't any good people there. And the thing is, the people who are good don't always have the money or the means to do anything about it. People who would actually give a shit about us and take care of us don't have the money or the influence to do anything. The thing is, before you have influence to care for people, to help people, you need money, and not everybody has the chance to earn a lot of money. And even if they do, they don't know how to properly save or to actually obtain said money, because they might be an amazing person. They could easily govern us to the point where everybody loves them and they can do anything that they're smart enough to do that, but they don't know how to earn money or to gain the influence that they need. And I understand that being able to get that money, to have the ability to obtain said money is a good quality that we would want, but that makes them a business person, not a good representative of us. It doesn't make them a good person, a smart person to be creating those laws. It just makes them smart with money, a good saver. And it's kind of obvious that we really don't want a businessman as our president, because businessman is for money. The majority of people don't have a lot of money. So, if he wants more money, because that's what businessmen generally are for, because that's what they're good at, that's what they can do, is to gain more money, find more ways to gain money, is what they're good at. What part of that I don't understand, what part of that would make them good. I understand a businessman or a woman in the right situation is good because they'll have continue to make our economy grow and yada 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 by doing that. But if you put them in a position where they're creating laws to help govern our people, then I don't get it. How is that smart? I mean, I guess they're smart enough to make money, so they must be smart enough to create the laws and to help everybody everywhere. They can keep a business running, then they must be able to keep a government running, right? Right. Right. That must be what it is. That must be it. I don't know. I'm dumb. I'm just a weeb who likes to play World of Warcraft.
The Legion is reeling from your
That's all I'm good for.
Cut them down.
Right? I don't know anymore. I'm still a dumb kid. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm ranting.